Ayakui Neknamalita, and this is my channel, The Midnight Librarian. Today I will be talking about my September TBR. So, I'm not going to be doing my Pokemon cards choose my TBR this time. I know that I said back in July's TBR that I was going to push it to September. I'm going to push it again because it's Becca's Bookoplathon. So Becca's Bookoplathon is a readathon that Becca from Becca and the Books puts on every year, twice a year I believe, and this round is the month-long readathon. So the Bookoplathon is based off of Becca's TBR game that is based off of Monopoly. It's really fun. This is like my third time doing it. I'll link Becca's channel as well as her announcement video down in the description down below if you want to go check it out. I highly suggest you do. In early spring it's the 48-hour readathon, which is like a huge event, but I don't tend 48 hours is almost too small of a readathon for me. I love month-long, and so for September is the month-long readathon for the Bookoplathon. There's a board, there's great prompts. I'm really excited about it. There's also another readathon that I'd like to participate in as well, and that's the Spooky Smart Bitch readathon hosted by Jordaline from Jordaline Reads, who I will also link down in the description down below. Now, because of these readathons, this is why I'm pushing back my Pokemon cards choose my TBR, because there's just going to be too much to deal with. So that's my plan. I'm sorry. It's going to be interesting to see if I can combine some of these prompts from Becca's Bookoplathon and the Spooky Smart Bitch readathon. If not, I'm gonna have a lot. I'm a little worried just because school did start in August, and in August. And I am taking a class. It's critical theory English class, and it sounds like we're going to have at least 4 books to read, October and November, that we're really kind of digging into those. Let's get on with Becca's Bookoplathon. I'm only going to do 5 prompts. That's going to be my start. If you watched this before, or I've done this before, and I've watched Becca choose her own TBR before, and know that it doesn't always stick to 5. So that's what I'm starting out with. It may increase, who knows. I'm just leaving room for it. So, and with the other readathon, who knows if I'm able to combine the two. So I will choose Becca's Bookoplathon prompts first, and then see which prompts from the Spooky Smart Bitch readathon I can do. By the way, I don't think I mentioned that the Spooky Smart Bitch readathon goes from September 4th to the 10th, so it's a week long. It's a little shorter than it's about a little shorter than what I'm comfortable with, but I'm going to try it because I think it'll be a good vlogging opportunity. So we're going to try that. So let's go with roll number 1. So here we have Bookoplathon board, my little character Turk work, as I've been using for the last several years, my die, my chance cards, and my community bookshelf. Let's get started with roll number 1. And double. We got 4 and 4, 8. Patterns and text. So right off the bat, roll number 1, we got a 4 and a 4, double. So immediately that's adding another roll so making a total of 6. But we landed on patterns and text, and for this I am basically having to choose a book with a pattern or mostly text for the cover design, and for that I'm going to choose The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. This book I've had on TBRs before. I don't necessarily know if you would call this a pattern. I would consider it one. There's like beads here as well, and I know typically when beading, that typically has a pattern. Typically I'm making it work. All right, this is, I believe, Louise Erdrich's newest release, and I still feel like it's like a year old at this point. I've heard mixed things about this because it deals with some of the events that happened in 2020, and a lot of people weren't quite ready for that. I'm interested and curious to see how I feel about it, particularly now that it's 2022 and not I feel like not a whole lot has gotten done since then. The setting is a small bookstore that's being haunted by the bookstore's most annoying customer. They died on All Souls Day and has been haunting this bookstore. We are following Tuki, who is recently got a job selling books at this bookstore after being incarcerated for a while, and books basically like saved them. She's also trying to solve this mystery of this haunting, while at the same time trying to understand all that occurs in Minneapolis during a year of grief, astonishment, isolation, and furious reckoning. So this bookstore is based in Minneapolis, much like Louise Erdrich's bookstore, Birchbark Books, which I highly recommend you check out. I'll have that link down below as well. But yeah, I'm excited for this. So roll number 2. Roll number 2. 10. Favorite setting. You get a 6 and a 4, which equals 10, which is the favorite setting. So for that, I'm I don't know if this is like cheating at all, but what I'm gonna do is go ahead and continue on with the series that I've been reading for the summer, and that for some reason I cannot. Feedback. That is Feedback. This is the 4th and final book in the Newsflash series by Mira Grant. If you haven't been watching for a little bit, I have been reading this series all summer and have been falling in love with it. This is a zombie post-apocalyptic series where we are following Georgia Mason and Sean Mason, adopted siblings that run a blog site. Blog sites are considered more reputable than typical news sites because when the zombie outbreak started, bloggers were the first ones to tell the truth. They weren't being paid by for political agendas or anything like that. So in the first one, Feed, we are following Georgia and Sean Mason, who are both 20-somethings. They were born just before the... God, my mom's cat scared me. Jack, what's up, honey? You wanna come say hi? Yeah, come say hi. Hi, big boy. Oh, yes. Stick and cats don't go great. Okay, newsflash. Right, Georgia and Sean Mason are 20-somethings. They were born just before the outbreak, so they basically have lived knowing nothing else but this outbreak, that they essentially have been living their whole life with zombies. So they know how to navigate it. Georgia is a newsie. She is solely about getting the facts of the news and putting it up for her followers, while Sean is a Irwin who likes to do stunts, likes to go out and poke dead things with sticks and be put into dangerous situations. So they are trying to get their names big and make the big money, and end up being able to do so when they get a contract to follow a senator on his presidential trail. So it kind of goes from there. It's political intrigue, it's zombies, it's just great. I've absolutely loved the series so far. The third one I kind of didn't like as much as the others, but I'm excited to go on with the fourth one, which is Feedback. I keep forgetting the names. So yeah, this is Feedback, and yeah, I'm excited. So I guess it's a favorite setting, this post-apocalyptic world. I'm finding that I really enjoy zombie horror because I'm always just curious about like how it came about, how they're living now, how they're surviving, etc. Not just the zombies, but everybody. And a lot of the reason why I am enjoying Newsflash as a series is because of the questions that keep popping up in my head, Mira Grant keeps answering. So it's been great. I love it. Mira Grant's also Shannon McGuire, if you didn't know. So yeah, I'm hoping to finish the series off in September. Roll number 3. Roll number 3. Another double. 1 and 1, 2. A TBR game. We got another double, yay! So this is, that's adding a 7th roll to my prompt list. So for roll number 3, we got a 1 and a 1 and landed on TBR game. I'm not sure what to do with this. I could, you know what? Let's do that. So it looks like I will be doing my Pokemon cards choose my TBR, because I will do my Pokemon TBR again. There were some elements to this that I wanted to change, but I think I'll look at the old one because I still need to give you the announcement of what's changed. So I'll do the old one for now. I remember how to open this. So it seems like a waste because I'm only essentially pulling one card from this, what typically is a 10 card package. But I know I will choose 3 cards, and whichever one I like better is the one I'm choosing for it, if I can figure out how to open this.
12 seconds later.
Okay, so I got my Pokemon cards open. We're gonna get rid of this first one, and let's see what my first pick is. So the first one is a trainer card. It's the Moon and Sun badge, which is a mood read. Next. It's a trainer card, which is another mood read. Next. This is Boldor. It's the second form of Roggenrola and is a fighting Pokemon. And I believe that is dual perspective. So that was kind of best, really, because I can either choose dual perspective or mood read, and obviously I'm gonna go with a mood read. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. In case you're curious, the other parts of this Pokemon deck is Cutiefly, Hitmonchan. I don't know if you can see these. My camera's like not focusing very well. Sableye, Lotad, Teddiursa. Got a reverse holo of Cryogonal, which is a water. Whoop. Altaria, and a water energy card. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go with a mood read on this. So what am I in the mood for? I'm in the mood for more zombie books. And for that, I'm gonna go with The Undead Truth of Us by Brittany Lewis. So this one has been getting a lot of hype recently because of Barnes & Noble recent policy change where they're only going to be putting out 1 to 2 bestseller authors that they know they can for sure sell. So this is putting a lot of marginalized authors in a, putting a lot more pressure on marginalized authors. This one I actually pre-ordered before I heard the news. So I'm happy of that, mostly because that cover is freaking gorgeous. So yeah. This one, I believe it's YA. I would assume so. We're following 16-year-old Zari Young, who's certain that her mother has morphed into a zombie before her untimely death, but she can't seem to figure out why her mother died, why her aunt doesn't want her around, why all her dreams seem suddenly hopelessly out of reach, and why ever since that day she's been seeing zombies everywhere. Then Bo moves into her apartment building, tall, skateboard in hand, freckles like stars, and undeniable charm. Z wants nothing to do with him, but when he transforms into a half zombie right before her eyes, something feels different. He contradicts everything she thought she knew about monsters, and she can't help but wonder if getting to know him might unlock the answers to her mother's death. So yeah, I recently got this. I'm really excited. I am still on a full zombie kick, so let's go for it. Roll number 4. Roll 4. 2 and 1, 3. Letter. So for roll number 4, I have to actually, let me look at Becca's rules. Okay, so for this one, it's use a random letter generator to find a letter, find a book with that with a title that starts with your letter, or an author whose first or last name starts with that letter. If you get a more difficult letter like X or Z, you can choose to regenerate. Okay, so let's find a random letter generator on my phone. G. Okay, so we got a G. Let me figure it out. So this is perfect. And this, it's yeah, okay, and this is gonna be weird. But I chose American Hippo by Sarah Gailey. So Gailey, G, yeah. Okay, so this one I borrowed from our coworker. I'm really excited for this, mostly because it's been on my TBR for a while. And I never, for some reason, just never spent the money to get it. And my coworker recently started a book exchange shelf in their office, and this was on there. And so we essentially traded. I lent them Black Sun, and I was able to grab American Hippo. So, but yeah, this one, I've read Sarah Gailey before. I think it was earlier this year, actually, that I read When We Were Magic. I enjoyed the writing style that Sarah Gailey has, but wasn't too interested in that book itself. So I wanted to try more of their works. And then this one is an alternate American history in which hippos rule the colossal swamp that was once the Mississippi River. Now readers... In 2017, Sarah Gailey made her debut with River of Teeth and Taste of Marrow, two action-packed novellas that introduce readers to an alternate America in which hippos rule this colossal swamp that was once the Mississippi River. Now readers have the chance to own both novellas in American Hippo, a single beautiful volume along with two original short stories never before released in print. So I'm not seeing a synopsis, but from what I understand, my coworker explained it to me as that this is an alternate American history book in which to try to combat world hunger, hippos are ranched rather than like cows or anything because they have more meat. So they were brought over to America to ranch for meat. So that's all I really wanted to know. From what I understand, this is like a Western type with like hippos as ranching animals. So yeah, I think it's weird. I think it's gonna be fun. So that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, roll number 5. Roll number 5. You have 6 and 5. 11. Multi-perspective. Okay, so roll number 5, we got a 6 and a 5, and that is multi-perspective. I'm glad I didn't choose the fighting Pokemon. So, because I think this is going to be interesting to try to figure out. Multi-perspective. So for multi-perspective, I think I'm going to try to continue with Dracula by Bram Stoker. I had started reading this before actually listening to it, and it just wasn't getting into it that way, so I'm hoping that by physically reading it, it'll be better. From what I remember, it does switch between perspectives of what's his name? Between Jonathan Harker and Mina Harker. So I think that will be interesting. This feels like a chunky book, and it looks like a chunky book, but it's just over 300 pages, so I think it'll be fine, and I like the idea of it as we head into the spooky season. So, and I would really like to finish this before moving on to A Dowry of Blood. So yeah, would like to finally finish this. Roll number 6. Roll number 6. 2 and 1. 3. Big book, over 500 pages. So for roll number 6, we got a big book. Okay, this one feels weird to put in this. This TBR is getting weirder and weirder. Okay, so I don't have that many books over 500 pages. I'm not the biggest tome reader, and I was trying to figure out which among the ones that I do have that I was not too intimidated to read. There was a couple in mind that I thought were 500 pages, but were short by like 50. So, ugh. Okay. So this is what I chose because I actually am fairly curious about this. I got it last year back in November, but that is The Prince of the Skies by Antonio Itrube. This is a story based on the true story of Anton de Saint-Exupéry, which is the author of The Little Prince. And this one in particular, actually, Antonio Itrube is the author of The Librarian of Auschwitz, which I have not read. But this one seemed really interesting. It's also a cover that I absolutely love. But basically, like I said, it's based off the true story of Antonio de Saint-Exupéry in the 1920s, long before he wrote The Little Prince. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was an accomplished pilot along with Jean Mermoz and Henry Guillemets. He was chosen to pioneer new mail routes across the globe. No distance was too far and no mountain was too high. Each letter had to reach its destination. The three friends soared through the air while a world torn apart by wars and political factions awaited them back on solid ground. So this is a gripping narrative of death-defying plane crashes, heart-rending love affairs, and unexpected fame, as well as an homage to Antoine Saint-Exupéry, an unforgettable writer who touched the lives of millions of readers. So yeah, this one seems like a little random one for my TBR, but here we go. Roll 7. Roll number 7 is 2 and 5, which is 7. TBR vet. So for roll 7, we got a TBR vet. And I think for this, it'd be easy enough for me to grab the next one in the series. I'm currently listening to The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien for the Magical Readathon, for something similar of a book that's the oldest book on my TBR. So it makes sense for me to go ahead and put this on the September TBR to hopefully finish this series off as well. A lot of finishing off series, hopefully. And that is The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is the third and final book in the Lord of the Rings series trilogy, though I don't think it was actually supposed to be 3 books, because even this one is a continuation in numbers. I don't know. Anyway, this is the third book of the Lord of the Rings. If you don't know what Lord of the Rings is, basically we are following a fellowship of sorts. Basically, a hobbit named Frodo ends up inheriting a ring that his uncle Bilbo, or older relation Bilbo, ends up as part of like an inheritance. Frodo ends up finding out through various sources that this is the Ring of Power. This was a ring created for evil to rule them all, to rule Middle Earth. And ultimately some dark things are chasing after him. And he and a bunch of other hobbits end up having to meet up with some other folks within Middle Earth, elves, dwarves, humans, and figure out what to do with this Ring of Power now that it has been found after so many years. Hopefully I can finish this as well. Okay, and that is it for Becca's Bookoplathon. Let's check to see what books I'm able to pick from my current stock and place into the Spooky Smart Bitch Readathon prompts. So the first prompt for the Spooky Smart Bitch Readathon is horror by a BIPOC author, and for that I'm choosing The Undead Truth of Us by Brittany S. Lewis. Okay, so the second prompt is horror featuring possession / demonic haunting. Okay, so I don't believe this is a demonic haunting story, but it is one that Jordaline ended up having on. I don't know if she suggested it at one point or if it was a recommendation, but I remember picking it up because of Jordaline. So it's not a demonic haunting though. I think it's just a haunting, but I'm going to count it nonetheless, and that is Hex by Thomas Old Huvelt. But basically this cover is freaky and I love it. And It's a nice floppy back. Whoever is born here is doomed to stay till death. Whoever settles here never leaves. Welcome to Black Spring, the seemingly picturesque Hudson Valley town haunted by the Black Rock Witch, a 17th century woman whose eyes and mouth are sewn shut. Muzzled, she walks the streets and enters homes at will. She stands next to children's beds for nights on end. Everybody knows that her eyes may never be opened or the consequences will be too terrible to bear. So that's all I'm going to say. That's all I want to know. It sounds creepy as hell. And I'm going to make this work for the demonic haunting prompt. The next trope for the spooky smart bitch is Readathon is your favorite horror trope. Again, I'm pretty sure that this works for zombies, so I'm going to go with that. One is horror written by a trans author. I don't have any horror by trans authors at this time that I have yet to already read. If you are looking for one though, I do suggest Manhunt by Gretchen Felker Martin. This was really interesting. I do want to say content warning for rape and graphic depictions of it, as well as TERFs, graphic depictions of death and injury, blood and gore. But ultimately, if you enjoy zombie books like I do, this one's really interesting and I really enjoyed it. I think I only gave it 3.5, 4 stars, but it's one that I keep thinking about. It's also a really fun cover. And basically, Beth and Fran spend their days traveling the ravaged New England coast, hunting feral men and harvesting their organs in gruesome effort to ensure they'll never face the same fate. Robbie lives by his gun and one hard-learned motto, other people aren't safe. After a brutal accident entwines the three of them, this found family of survivors must navigate murderous TERFs, a sociopathic billionaire bunker brat, and awkward relationships dynamics, all while outrunning packs of feral men and their own demons. So I highly suggest this if you don't know what to choose for that prompt. Unfortunately, I don't have any other horror books by a trans author at this time. And if you know of any, feel free to link them down below. The next one is a splatterpunk horror, and again, I don't think I have any of those really. Aside from Manhunt, if you enjoy splatterpunk, that's another one that I would suggest for that as well. The next prompt is a photo, and then a bonus prompt is dark academia, and I think I'm okay. So I think I'm okay just filling out a couple of the prompts of favorite horror trope, a haunting, and a horror by a BIPOC author. So really it'll just be these two, which I'm fine with because I think this is going to be quite a heavy reading month anyway, that I may or may not be able to get to all of them due to school, as well as just how many there are. So that is my September reading list plus feedback by Mira Grant. If you have read any of these, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. If you have horror recommendations by trans authors, please let me know. I'd love to hear them. Please, no spoilers. Otherwise, if you've made it this far, is there a zombie emoji? Let's go ahead and put that, because I'm still just in the zombie mood, man. Otherwise, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you have yet to do so already, and I hope that you are in the mental mindset to enjoy your reading. I will see you in another video very soon. Chew.